Hey, good morning. I'm Pam Fox. Thanks for tuning into my channel. Let's see. I have the day off. I just went for a wonderful run. It's a beautiful day. And I had a comment on one of my YouTube videos about hiatal hernia and GERD and exercise. And so since we're doing the 30-day Crush Your Fitness Goals Challenge on my Up Your Game Facebook page and here on YouTube, I thought I would address this and see if I can't at least try to help this person that commented on my channel and others who suffer from this same thing. Now, I know that all of you out there don't have GERD and you don't have hiatal hernias. However, hiatal hernia is extremely common in people. A lot of people don't even know they have them. Most people who are diagnosed with GERD do have hiatal hernia. They just don't get that diagnosis because to get an official diagnosis, you have to swallow barium and go in the x-ray machine and have them take, an image of your insides to see if you actually have a hiatal hernia. And then at that point, there's nothing they can do anyhow. Unless it's really bad, they might do surgery, which has a very low success rate anyway. So I don't think they really like to do the surgeries because they don't hold, they're not permanent, and then people come back with the symptoms again anyhow. So I don't recommend you go out and do a barium swallow and have that diagnostic test done because you have to swallow barium. I did it and I survived, and people do, but it's not something you want to put yourself through unless you absolutely have to. And there's no reason to. If you watch this video, I'm going to show you how you can figure out if you even have a hiatal hernia. If you have symptoms of GERD, there's a really good chance that you do have a hiatal hernia. But the question is, let me just read the question that I want to really try to focus on here today, because I have actually several videos about this. If you do have GERD and you suspect you have hiatal hernia, I've done a lot of videos on it. You can check those out. If you go into my playlists here on my YouTube channel, I try to put them all under that one category of GERD and hiatal hernia, and you can watch what I have to say about the matter. I do have GERD. I do have hiatal hernia. It's something I've spent a lot of dedication and time trying to figure out in my own life, and I've made great strides, you guys, just really great strides, and I've helped a lot of people with their symptoms as well. And this is natural stuff. This is free stuff. This is natural stuff. This is it's just a matter of doing it, and it's really the easiest thing in the whole wide world. Once you get, accustomed to it and good at it. I mean, I'm at the point where I can do it right now. I'm doing it right now. it's really easy to address the symptoms of GERD and hiatal hernia. So here's the comment from Tyler. He says, subscribed. Thanks, Tyler. Been suffering from a hiatal hernia for the last 4 years. Have been trying to ease up on the diet a bit, was thinking about cutting out meat completely, but I still eat chicken and the occasional fish. The GERD is bearable, but I've had to cut out exercise quite a bit as I have difficulty breathing. Would love to get back to a point where I can run and exercise again. So what he's talking about here with the exercise and the breathing, I don't want to get too much into what a hiatal hernia is and why we have these symptoms, because I have all these videos where I do that. But just briefly, when our hiatal hernia is activated or aggravated, the lower esophageal sphincter, which is supposed to clamp down and keep all the contents in the stomach and not coming up into the esophagus, that sphincter is supposed to clamp down and keep that gas and those contents, the acid, down where they're supposed to be. And so when we exercise, if we have a hiatal hernia, that agitates that, and the sphincter isn't able to do its job. And so then you have acid rising up, which can burn the esophagus, which can cause shortness of breath, which can cause, that burning sensation, that burning in the lungs we get when we run really hard. That can be exacerbated if you have a hiatal hernia, really, really intense burning. And shortness of breath. Really it feels like you're an asthmatic when you're not. In fact, my son was diagnosed with asthma at a very young age, and he never had asthma. He had a hiatal hernia and GERD associated symptoms that were stimulated by, again, that gas rising up and causing shortness of breath. So, so he says that he has had to quit the exercise, or at least cut back, because of his difficulty breathing. So that's what I want to talk about today, is what we can do to better able to eliminate that symptom of shortness of breath. And it really just comes down to two things. It comes down to moving your stomach down and moving your diaphragm up. So this is your stomach, this is your esophagus, this is your diaphragm. And the esophagus actually goes through a hole in your diaphragm known as the hiatus. So when we have a hiatal hernia, the stomach comes up through that hiatus, and again, that compromises that lower esophageal sphincter, which is supposed to clamp down and keep all the contents in the stomach. So if we can get that stomach to come down and the hiatus to come up like that, then you have no pressure on your lower esophageal sphincter, and you have no shortness of breath, you have no frequent belching, you have no acid reflux, because now that sphincter is able to clamp down and do its job without being compromised. So how do we get the stomach to come down and the diaphragm to come up? Again, I've got a lot of videos on this, but I'm going to give my best shortened exercise, because I've done a lot of stuff over the years that helps. I've tried a lot of things and I've shared them here on this channel. But this is what I do every day. Do I still have a hiatal hernia? Do I still have GERD? I do. Do I still have symptoms? I do. But see, I'm about ready to burp right now, but I am able to do this exercise and get my stomach to come down and my diaphragm to come up and eliminate my symptoms as long as I'm doing the exercise. And so I really just trained myself to be able to do it whenever I feel symptomatic and relieve those symptoms. I can do it when I'm running. In fact, I do it when I'm running. I can do it when I'm lifting weights. That's one thing. A lot of people with hiatal hernia have to quit lifting weights, because that bearing down and lifting heavy weights really irritates and aggravates that hiatal hernia and can cause you to be very symptomatic. And we don't want to have these symptoms where we have actual acid rising up into our esophagus and burning that flesh. The acid in the belly is fine, because the belly has a mucous membrane that protects that gut. Because we have to have acid in the stomach in order to digest our food. That's what it's supposed to be there. We need acid. We should have acid, and lots of it. But when it rises up into esophagus, there's no mucous membrane to protect that esophagus. When it burns other areas that it's not supposed to be in, then we start to have some very serious consequences. That's why doctors will put you on a proton pump inhibitor, one of these Nexiums or Previcids, to decrease the acid in your stomach, so that you don't have these issues of long-term burning. But then the problem with that is long-term use of proton pump inhibitors decreases and neutralizes the acid in your stomach, which means you're not digesting your foods thoroughly, which means you're going to have nutrient deficiencies. So that's why they have a warning on those proton pump inhibitors to not use them long-term. And I know a lot of people have been on them for years, 10, 15, 20, 25 plus years. So that's not a good thing either. So why not learn this simple technique, which I'm going to show you right now. Okay, I'm going to stand up so you can see my belly. So here's my sternum, which is where your rib cage comes together. I think it's called a little xiphoid process right there. So you just come down where there's a little bit of soft tissue, and you want to just slide down your rib, maybe an inch, boom, right there. That's where most of us, our stomach is right in here. So we find the center, we slide down about an inch, just slide down that rib. If you're overweight and it's hard to find this, just do the best you can and keep trying until you figure it out. You can do it. And all it is you're just going to push down a little bit. And you're not digging in deep, you're not applying a ton of pressure. Really, it's just a little bit of pressure is all it takes, because this exercise is just helping you try to identify where the stomach is and put a little pressure on it to help it come down. You can slide it like this if you want to. You can just press. You can palpate around, and if you feel some bubbles, you're hitting it. But the idea is to just put a little pressure there. But that's not even the main thing. Here is the main thing we're going to do. We're going to take some deep breaths. As we breathe in, my diaphragm goes up. Okay, another thing you can do is arch your back. Diaphragm goes up. So that's how we get our diaphragm up, is we take a deep breath, arch our back a little bit, and then when we exhale, again, we're applying pressure there, we relax that belly. That is key. Inhale, diaphragm comes up. Exhale, relax the belly. Okay, and that's it. And you don't even have to, when I said I was doing it right now, I wasn't even applying pressure on my stomach. I was simply breathing in, breathing out, relaxing the belly. That is the most important part of this exercise, is relaxing the belly. I know it goes against like everything you've ever been taught. Like you're thinking, even when you're exercising, you're relaxing the belly. Yeah, when I do yoga, I try to relax my belly the whole time as much as I can. When I run, I relax my belly as much as I can. I don't suck it in. This lifetime of sucking your gut in and squeezing your abs to have good posture and to have a flat stomach and to look good is crowding the organs and pushing that stomach up and through that hiatus, which gives you a hiatal hernia. By relaxing the belly, everything just through gravity falls down into its place instead of having all that pressure lifting it up all the time. So you must relax the belly. You don't have to take, I had one person on one of my videos comment that my exercise made her dizzy. And I remember the first time I ever did this, not this, but the first time I ever kind of stumbled across this idea of the deep breathing for my chronic belching, I sat right there at the computer and started taking these really deep breaths, like as deep as I could. And yeah, I got dizzy and it didn't help my hernia. So if this doesn't help your symptoms right away, don't give up. This took me a couple weeks to really make the connection and figure out where my stomach was, how much pressure I needed to apply. But it was when I really figured out that relaxing the belly, and it took me a long time to figure that part out. I was starting to figure out that my belly was always constricted when I was symptomatic. I bought a back massager that wraps around your back and you turn it on and it vibrates. It was heat and vibration for back pain, for low back pain. But I bought it and I flipped it around and put it on my front to massage my belly, and as long as I wore that thing, I had no symptoms because it really made the muscles, the musculature of the abdomen relax. So as long as I had that thing on, I had no symptoms. And that's when I figured out that by relaxing the belly, it just gives those organs room to slip down. Now everybody's different with this, and I just want to mention that because there are sliding hernias, there are rolling hernias, there are mild hernias, there are not so mild hernias. I've watched surgeries on YouTube where they actually go in and with the calipers, they pull and pull and pull and pull, like all of the stomach is sitting on top of the diaphragm. So I've seen my hiatal hernia, I've seen the image, and it's just like this much. So for me, just to be able to relax my stomach and lift my diaphragm, it's all I need to be able to be non-symptomatic, to not have these symptoms of reflux and belching and indigestion and all that discomfort. Okay, so again, what I did was I practiced this. I would spend 5 minutes a day. I would just go lay on the floor and just kind of take deep breaths, relax my belly, and I would feel all these bubbles, and it would feel really good. If you feel those bubbles, you know you're in the right spot. And then the symptoms would go away. And then of course I go about my business and they would come back. And so what I was able to train myself to do was to just really take a minute, relax the belly, take some breaths, arch my back a little bit. I could do it at my computer at work. I can do it while I'm walking, while I'm in the car. It doesn't matter. I can do it when I'm lying in bed, down in bed. I can do it anytime. I can relax my belly and take those deep breaths and just really allow the stomach to slip down. Now, if you're trying this and trying this and trying this and it's just really not working, you may have what's known as a strangulated hernia. And typically if you have a really strangulated hernia, they'll go in and they'll operate because it's literally cutting off, the hiatus is so tight around the stomach that it's, cutting off circulation and so forth. But you can have just a subtle strangulated hernia. And I can remember for myself, like actually a day where I was able to pop my stomach, like I felt after doing this, for a couple of weeks, I felt my stomach really pop. I felt and heard like a sensational, releasing. So, it may just be stuck up there. And then the other thing I wanted to mention was, two more things really quick, was weightlifting. So when we lift weights, again, we're lifting that heavy weight and it really causes the abs to constrict and to put pressure on that LES and to make you symptomatic. And so that's why a lot of times people with GERD they're so miserable they can't lift weights. So what you can do for that, two things I'm going to suggest. One is that you just take a minute between sets and do this exercise, get the belly back down, you know, and then go do your heavy lifting and then come back and do this exercise, get the belly back down, so that it's not up there and lodged the whole time you're working out. So that's one thing you can try. Another thing you can try is you can either devise a belt for yourself, maybe something that you've got, or go buy a belt at the thrift store. Like a piece of elastic would be, like a wide band of elastic would be ideal. I personally have like a wide band elastic belt that I used to use. Something that's going to be tight to the body, and then you put that around right on your hernia, and you buy a little ball, like a racket ball is perfect. A tennis ball will work. I used a super ball that was about that big. I got it at the dollar store. It's called a super ball. It's blue and it's about the size of maybe a dollar. But I just put that in there and left it there, and it just put a little bit of pressure right there on my stomach. And then that combined with the deep breathing and relaxing the belly helped me to be non-symptomatic all day long. I would wear this all day long back when I first started. But again, I got to the point where I can just do the breathing and alleviate my symptoms. That's where I'm at today, having done this now for, I don't know, a year maybe longer. I don't know, something like that. So that's it. But the last thing I did want to mention, he talks about diet on here, because in most of my videos where I talk about my GERD, I do talk about the fact that I went on a plant-based diet and how that really, really helped. And while it's true, it really helped, it didn't heal my hiatal hernia, unfortunately. Now it feels like it's getting better all the time. So maybe that week or stretched out hiatus, you know, maybe if I incorporated some singing exercises for to strengthen my diaphragm, maybe that would help. But I haven't done that. That's something that's kind of on my list to try someday if this doesn't go away altogether, because I would like it to heal completely. I'm pretty content right where I'm at, because I can just do the deep breathing, which is really therapeutic for me anyway, to do deep breathing. So my hernia just reminds me to deep breathe. So I'm not in a big hurry to move forward anymore with this. But the diet really addressed the burning. The burning was alleviated quite a bit through going on a plant-based diet, but I still had the chronic belching. It didn't touch, the vegan diet didn't touch the chronic belching, because that stomach was still pushed up into the hiatus, causing pressure on the lower esophageal sphincter. So the diet's not going to make your stomach come down and your diaphragm come up. So it was really through the breathing exercise that helped me with this. Now, with that being said, I would still encourage you, if you're interested in trying a plant-based diet, Tyler, I put a couple of links to your comment, but I'm going to link them here on the channel as well. One is to a short, wonderfully done documentary by just a plant-based YouTuber here on YouTube that he calls Seaspiracy, and it's just very informative about the factory farming of seafood in this world. It's very informative. And I don't know about you all, but after watching a movie like Seaspiracy, I am really not interested in eating seafood. I'm not interested in it for my own benefit, because I now know that it's really filled with pollutants and mercury, and it's not good for us. It's harmful for us. And I also know the widespread devastation it's doing to our environment. So it's not something that I want to be a participant in now that I have watched Seaspiracy. So I'll link that below on the YouTube channel. If you're watching on the Facebook group, just click on the YouTube. It'll take you over to the YouTube channel. So watch that. As far as chicken goes, I'll just link something to one of Dr. Michael Greger. He has a lot of videos about chicken. Chicken is so bad for us, you guys. It's just so bad for us. And if you just watch some of these videos about how chickens are conventionally raised in factory farms, you won't want to participate in eating those either. I mean, if you want to, buy them from your local farmer where you can, go and visit the farms and see that the chickens are ethically raised, that's up to you. But it's still not good for your health. Eating chicken isn't. So I'll post that below. And if you want to hear more from Dr. Michael Greger, he actually has a lot of videos. I'll just post one below, but just you can go on his site and read all about why chicken is just no bueno. No bueno. So I think that's it. Tyler, thanks for commenting and thanks for subscribing. I hope this helps. Like I said, I have a hiatal hernia. I have GERD. I'm able to exercise. I'm able to lift weights. It took me some time to get to the point where I am at. So please, you know, be consistent, be persistent, and don't give up, because in time, I believe that anybody can overcome these symptoms simply by, you know, learning how to breathe, learning how to relax the belly. That's the most important thing. Getting that stomach down if it's, you know, kind of locked up in there in the hiatus, and then keeping it down through, you know, just implementing this exercise on a daily basis. It's not hard. There's nothing hard about it. And again, it's therapeutic to deep breathe, so why not, right? All right, so that's it. Thanks for watching.